Welcome back to Cinema Corner. I'm Blake, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Alex and Josh.
And today we're doing Cinema Task Volume 10. It's our monthly review of movies that we were tasked before. Last time I was tasked Oppenheimer from Blake. I tasked Josh Children of Men, and Josh tasked Blake The Devil All the Time. I'll go first with Oppenheimer, just because it's the most anticipated one. Let's just get it over with. This was like the Top Gun Maverick for me. Top Gun Part 2. Big anticipated movie that I just did not watch when it came out and did not watch it like for 14, 15
Year
months.
and 4 months.
Okay, There you go. Yeah, a year and 4 months after the release. So it's a 3-hour movie, so it's pretty long, but I'll just hit like the big points. Let's see. Beginning starts with a young Oppenheimer. Actually, starts with an old Oppenheimer reflecting on his young self. So you get him in, I believe it was London, learning under a professor that he was actually wanting to kill with some cyanide or some sort of cyanide. He was injecting into an apple, which is fun, weird, but okay. Then he goes back and he starts to like regret it. And that's like the beginning of like the sequences you get with him like reflecting on stuff, and you kind of get this weird thing. I don't know what that thing at the beginning was, but I'm assuming it's like stars or some atoms like going off. I don't know. It was a cool effect, so that was cool. And then he regrets it, throws away the apple, and then we get into like the meat and potatoes, right? Finally get him over in America. He starts to kind of build a reputation. One of the big points in this movie was his affiliation-ish towards like the Communist Party, I guess. And that was like the big thing there with General Groves, I believe is what his name was. And that was like the one thing holding him back from being like the main manager or the main project manager for the Manhattan Project. And basically they got over it. They're like, okay. But they were still fighting him on like clearance and stuff like that. But he just wanted to get, like the brightest minds possible. One of which was still in Europe when like the war was at its peak. So there was no way to get him over. Meanwhile, they were building basically the atom bomb in Los Alamos, I believe is what the place is called. And they start building a city. They bring all like the brightest minds and their families, and you start seeing this, them do their thing. And while all that's happening, you see a lot of cameos, which I mean, trust me, I knew how star-studded this cast was, but to have some of the cameos that I didn't even know about, somehow, some way, I'm like, oh, he's in this? How, like, Christopher Nolan is the only man that could do this and just bring in like some well-known actor to do something for like 10 seconds and then off you go. I mean, just to name a few, you got Roderick in there, you got Josh from Drake and Josh. Was actually the one that pushes the button, which was cool. Did not know he was gonna be the one to do it. We'll get to that. Rami Malek, at first I didn't even know he was in the movie. He shows up very briefly at the beginning, kind of ish middle part, and then he was a big part of that, like, towards the end with the what's it called, like the council meeting or whatever, with Strauss. Obviously we know about RDJ and everything like that, but I mean, this was just a star-studded cast. Let's just get that out the way. They brought their A game. Christopher Nolan knows how to put together a cast. They know how to bring it when it's him at the helm directing a film like this. It was shot beautifully. There was points where I felt like maybe this didn't need to be 3 hours. You could have easily gotten this to the 2 hour 45 mark. Would have been perfect. But nonetheless, this is what he decided to give.
There is a difference between 240 and 3.
What do you mean?
There's just a conversation, off camera about a movie was 240. Somebody said it was 3. I was like, no, it's only 240. Two people were like, 240 and 3 is basically the same thing. I said, no, it's not.
It was just Alex.
So just double checking that 240 and 3, there is a difference in a movie.
There is, depending if you're like fully locked
in. I wasn't that
told
quite 15.
I was locked in. but then like towards like the latter half after like the bombing of Japan, it started to get a little not as intriguing is what I'm trying to say. It's like it was fine, but that's where it makes a difference for me. If it was that throughout the entire runtime and then like it ended, say like where he gets like all those visions like after they drop the bomb and he starts to quote unquote feel like he has blood on his hands. Gary Oldman, bro, he's in this. That was fucking nuts. Obviously as President Truman. So yeah, basically it was like just that latter half, like the latter 30-ish minutes where it started to kind of drag on a bit, but that was it. The first 2 hours and 30 minutes of this movie I was completely locked in. It was shot well. The only thing other than that runtime towards the end was the atom bomb detonation. I mean, I don't know how I feel about it on first watch. I know with you guys on first watch, you guys watched it in theaters, obviously, so that's a completely different experience. But I don't know how I felt about it. Like just the absolute
you can say it.
muteness of it just felt underwhelming. And it was like the after effect wasn't as powerful as I wanted it to be. Obviously, we didn't get to see like the bomb in Japan go off. We just saw like the aftermath and how.
What are the two places they dropped on, Alex?
Nagasaki and
the
Hiroshima.
2 cities. Just checking.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. Cool. And yeah, so those are just my big points. I'm not sure. You guys might know. Did Cillian Murphy win an award for this performance?
I'm not sure. They won everything.
Okay.
Yeah, this movie had a pretty good sweep.
Yeah, he won. He won the Oscar for it.
I mean, and deservedly so. He fucking killed it. I mean, just his internal panic. You can see it on his face. It was just a hell of a performance. But yeah, I mean, other than the bomb and then like that last 30 minutes kind of dragging on a bit, I felt this was overall a really good movie. I don't know if there's been something else. Oh, Einstein. I think that's like the other big thing was you kind of get that first hint of that conversation at the beginning when Strauss is talking, and then you kind of see his perspective. So you only see Einstein talk with Oppenheimer, and then he like walks away. And he just kind of like ignores Strauss, and Strauss is like, well, what the hell's going on? But tell him, basically. And he's like, he didn't tell him anything. And then we finally get that towards the end. And basically it was, that conversation that they had in the middle of the movie. Is this going to bring the end of the planet as we know it? And that was something that they didn't quite know before they tested it. But at the end, he pretty much says, yeah, I think this is it. This is the beginning of the end for us. So I thought that was a good way to bookend everything. So, but yeah, as a score for this film, it's a long one, but it was a good one for 2.5 hours of this. I would say maybe 240. It was solid. I was going to give it a 9 out of 10. Really good movie.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I'm a sucker for Christopher Nolan. Like, even his like my least favorite Chris Nolan movie, which was Dunkirk, I still gave it like a 7.5 to 8, I think. And that was just because it was so weird with how he shot that movie, with having stuff happen before it happens, and then you kind of jumping back and forth. That wasn't as big of a thing in this one. Obviously, you get flashbacks and everything, and I like the effect of the black and white and like the color. I thought that was played really well. So, yeah, I mean, Christopher Nolan usually never misses for me.
Hey, give it a couple months, and you'll end up liking that movie if you rewatch it, because Blake and I both liked that movie more on our second watch. So,
I feel like most Christopher Nolan movies are like that. The first time you just experience it, and you're not really sure exactly everything, because he does a lot of time manipulation throughout his movies. Mm-hmm. And then I feel like the second time you rewatch one of his is when you're like, okay, I have a better expectation. And then you pick up on things. So I do feel like he definitely is a second watch. You have a better understanding and concept of it.
Yeah, but dude, I if anything, if this movie did anything for me other than obviously it being a good movie on its own, it makes me excited for what he's going to do in Odyssey, and that's one that I'm going to see in theaters. Like I'm saying right now, I'm not going to let a year and 4 months go by before I watch Odyssey. So he accomplished that for me at the very least. So yeah.
Yeah, kind of nuts you missed that movie twice because it had 2 theater runs.
So. Yeah. Not gonna lie, kind of regret it, but I'm like, at the same time, it's like the bomb didn't really feel like. Listen, this ain't no theater thing here, but it can get pretty loud in here if I want it to get pretty loud. It was kind of underwhelming, and based on what you guys said in your initial review, I felt like it was kind of underwhelming for sure. But
yeah,
that's just my opinion.
Blake, thoughts?
No.
Sure, I guess. Oh.
I want to hear Children of Men. I want to hear it. He texted me like a week ago. I want to hear his review.
I did nothing. That's crazy. We don't text. Yeah, so Children of Men was my movie. I've only seen clips of it on TikTok of one exact scene, and it is saved in my TikTok folder that I never opened called Movie Suggestions. Okay, this movie came out in 2006, which seems crazy to me because I definitely thought it was like maybe like a 2017 film that, you know, just kind of went under the radar, or maybe just has a niche community that really loves it. Find out it has kind of a fan base around this film. I have no idea if it won any awards. Should have looked into that because I rarely use these kind of words to describe a movie. But this movie genuinely was art. It was a just beautiful film, start to finish. Knew I was going to definitely like it at the bare minimum as soon as Michael Caine showed up. I was like, he's in this? Okay, it's got to be at least good. He's going to kill his role. He absolutely did. He played as like an old stoner man that you just kind of fall in love with. Yeah, it was the... title is basically what the movie's about. Children of Men, aka there's no kids. Fucking awesome. Am I right? I hate kids in movies. There's no kids. I mean, dude, awesome. So there's no little shit kid actors with shitty ass script and lines. Perfect. The youngest person in this film is 18. Okay. They actually die immediately at the start of the film, and it was kind of funny because everybody's just feeling how tragic that the youngest person on Earth is dead, but also gives you quick context right away that this is a world where it's been 18 years since somebody's been born. So that's pretty cool. It's based off from the year 2027. And for a film from 2006, you know, a lot of times it's kind of movies do a little bit bad job of like predicting, especially when it's kind of not that big of a difference. I mean, literally we're talking about 21 years here. It actually does a pretty good job of kind of making a realistic future. I mean, the only thing that was unrealistic, you know, at the time was there's still newspaper stands and it was like digitalized with like moving pictures on the paper. Otherwise, everything else kind of, it felt like, yeah, I could see this being what stuff looks like in 2 years, especially if there's been no kids in 18 years. But yeah, no, this film follows a character named Theo, and basically he's just the realest man out there. I think the best thing about every character in this film is they felt understandable about how they were reacting to the fact that no one's been born and that fucking plastic in the balls just fucked everything up and etc. and all the pollution and all that. And he's just like, why am I still going to work? He doesn't care. Anything that happens around him is just whatever. And everyone's kind of dealing with their own shit. And Michael Caine, how he deals with it is he makes strawberry weed. And that's his whole character, is the fact he's obsessed with strawberry weed. Makes everybody try it. And it's kind of goofy and funny. But Theo just doesn't care about it. Anyways, go on. Eventually they find a pregnant woman. And this is when the kind of plot thickens, the fact that they actually found someone that's pregnant. And then you see there's kind of these factions going on. You know, you still got some of basically the billionaires in control of the world while other countries have collapsed. this is based in London, and it's said that like Britain's one of the few countries that didn't go fucking to chaos, which kind of makes sense because they're on an actual island. But yeah, so you kind of get to see how the resistance goes, and then you really just follow this journey of trying to basically prevent this woman that's pregnant from being abused by either the oligarchs and the billionaires and all of them that still control the world, as well as the resistance themselves have their own agendas, stuff like that. There's a bunch of betrayals that happen in this film. It's really a like sci-fi thriller in the year 2027, but it's based in 2006. So overall, I mean, I this another thing about this film is it had a lot of long pan shots. So almost every action sequence was at least a minimum 3 to 5 minute no cut shot. One of those shots even being a tank rolling in and blowing up a building, and it looked like it was all practical effects. It looks so damn real, and especially knowing that it was 2006, you just genuinely could not tell if it was CGI or they really did that shit, because it was just one shot, looks amazing. God, I don't know. There's just some parts of this film that it was just so intense. I was into it the entire time, and makes you feel, definitely. I mean, I'm one that I say fuck them kids, but I mean, I was rooting for this woman and also this baby and the scenarios that happen through it. It's also very heavy on the storytelling because maybe also because it's the real world events right now, but immigration was a big issue. The world's going to shit. So there was a lot of bad stuff happening to immigrants in this film. The background actors, nobody felt like a background actor. Everybody felt like they were part of the main cast. Everyone just did that good part of their job. I really don't have much bad at all to say about this film. It's maybe the only thing to say is maybe be a bit longer. It's not even 2 hours. It's like around like an hour 50-ish. But to have that whole kind of story be put into a film, you're not even 2 hours, and pacing was never an issue, and it was just gorgeously shot. It was awesome. I genuinely recommend it to anyone, and that's kind of even why I didn't want to say the ending on this, because I think you two guys would also enjoy this film. I think everybody should give it a shot. I don't know how this film's kind of gone fully under the radar. I actually even talked to like my family and other people like, have you even seen this film? Because it feels like it should have won a lot of fucking Oscars because it was just amazing. So my rating for it is 9.7 out of 10. This is in my top 3. I just really loved it. I mean, it checks everything off the boxes for films I like. It's a sci-fi thriller that keeps you into it, and you genuinely really do not know how it's going to end the entire film or where it's going. So it was a good hit, Alex. It was.
I used to pray for times like this, man. 2 back-to-back bangers that I assigned to both of you. I'm so proud of myself. Oh, yeah. When I saw that text, I'm like, am I in for a generational rating right now? And you didn't say anything, but I was like, I was waiting for that. I was waiting for it. 9.7. I love that. Absolutely love that. But I'm actually curious to watch it too, because I was like, oh, this is not even that long of a movie. I saw the cast too. I was like, I wonder if he'll say something, or if he'll even recommend it to us.
The cast was pretty good as well. It had Julian Moore in there, and I don't remember his name, but he's in the Doctor Strange movies where they just gave up on his character, and he looked like he was going to be the big bad after the first one, and then we just never saw him again. Totally forgot what his name.
Not Mads Mikkelsen.
No, Chiwetel. I forgot his last. His like weird last name to pronounce.
Yeah.
It's
he had a big part in this.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Wait, shit. Not the guy who played the villain of Guardians 3?
No. He's the other sorcerer in Doctor Strange that like turns to evil, and that we like barely saw him in
Multiverse of Madness. Yeah, where he pretends to be his like friend, and then he takes him to the council.
Yeah,
to the Illuminati.
That actor.
Chiwetel Ejiofor, or I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but
Yeah, I would not at all. Either way, he's in this, does a phenomenal job. It was a pretty good cast. The main actor that plays Theo, I do not know his name. I
Clive
recognized him. Yeah, I recognize him. I don't remember from any other movies or projects. This got to be his best acting job he's ever done is in this film. He was phenomenal in it, and yeah, I don't know. I would definitely recommend you guys if you're bored. It was free on Amazon too. That was a big bonus.
Must be nice. I never get those.
Oh, he was in The Bourne Identity too. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, he was in The Bourne Identity. He was in Sin City. That's about the only two movies that I've watched of his. Yeah, an hour 49. It's a 92% of Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
Wow.
I knew it had a fan base around it, but
Yeah.
I didn't check anything when I went into this film. I wanted to be fully surprised.
It's kind of nuts. So for mine, I had Devil All the Time. This was, I believe it's a Netflix original. Fairly certain it is. I know it's on Netflix. Netflix original, which is kind of crazy because if we're talking about stacked casts, like this one also has the same thing. It's technically primarily led by Tom Holland, but you also have a lot of Bill Skarsgård in the beginning of it. Robert Pattinson's in for a little bit. The dude, I can't remember his name.
What was
He played Harry's stepbrother.
Oh, yeah.
That guy. I can't remember his name right now.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you either, but I know
He's in it. Jason Clarke, right? That's his name. He's in it. Also an Oppenheimer. Anyway, just a lot. There's a lot of people in this movie. And it's kind of weird because I didn't really know anything much about it going into it. And I thought it was starred by Tom Holland. It's relatively short, I feel. I think it maybe just hit 2 hours. I think it's about 50 minutes in until Tom Holland shows up. So I was like, okay. You pretty much follow the beginning of the movie is about Tom Holland's character's dad, which I'm blanking on Tom Holland's character's name right now, but it's pretty much all about his dad, who's played by Bill Skarsgård at the beginning of it, and kind of him coming back from war and meeting a girl at a diner, and then he goes back to his home, which takes place. So it's in like a tiny town at the bottom of Ohio and West Virginia are like the two main areas that there's like towns in those two that this movie primarily takes place in. But yeah, so the beginning is basically like Bill Skarsgård gets back from war, meets a girl at a diner, and is like, hey, actually, you know what? Like, he goes back to his home in like that Ohio, and then he's like, you know what? Actually, I like this girl. So he moves back he goes to West Virginia to meet with her. And then you learn that like the town that she lives in is like this tiny little inbred redneck town where like pretty much everybody is married to some kind of relative of their own. And so like he was an outsider that he got married to this girl and they had a kid and the kid got picked on. He was like, I think at this point, like 8-ish years old, is when you kind of skip to that, Bill Skarsgård's like the father of this 8-year-old, the mom gets sick. And then the dad had like a whole past of his family was super religious and he kind of like gave up on religion. And then he was like, we're going to start praying now. And like the mom's sick and he keeps like yelling at his son, like, you have to pray, like we have to pray to get the cancer. I think it was technically cancer. It was, it was a back while ago where they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. They were just giving people like, here's some cough drops or some shit. Like, you'll be fine. Smoke some cigs. You'll be aight. He's like, you got to pray. We got to get this out of your mother. And so he's like, yeah, man. And his dad's like smacking him around. Like, you're not praying hard enough. She's going to die because of you. It's like, hell yeah, brother. That's how that works. So eventually, unfortunately, the prayers were not answered. Mom dies. So then the dad's like really just off the deep end. Just like, we got to get the fuck out of here. We're going back to Ohio. Fuck this little inbred weird ass town. And so they get ready to try to like leave essentially. And the kid's just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not doing this. I'm going inside, Dad. So he goes inside. The dad goes out to his little praying, like, he basically just put up a cross out of like driftwood is where they like prayed on their property. He goes out there at nighttime and the kid's like, yo, Dad, where the hell are you? So he goes out, finds his dad just cut himself and killed him there. And so the kid's like, huh, well, my dad's dead now. So he like goes into town. And they're like, what the hell are you doing? Is that blood on you? What's going on right now? takes cops up there. Dad's dead. So they ship him back off to Ohio, and that's where we eventually get to Tom Holland's age. That kid is now living in Ohio with his mom's mom. It was his grandma. His grandma on his mom's side. He was living with her. And you also learn that the grandma took in another lady and guy's daughter that they dropped off when she was like a baby a couple like years before, and we're like, oh, we're gonna go out on like a little date night thing. Can you watch our daughter? And you know, like back in those small towns, they're like, yeah, I'll watch your kid. Like, you know, I'm an old lady. What else am I gonna do? So they go out for a drive. This dude's like a crazy pastor dude who's like insane, and he then kills his wife, and then is like, through the power of God, I resurrect you. Didn't work. She's just dead. So he just decides, well, I guess I'm just gonna leave now. So he just leaves his daughter with that lady. So she just raised this girl. And so Tom Holland, like we said, we finally get to him like pretty damn near an hour into the movie finally. And so him and that girl are like close-ish in ages. And Tom Holland like kind of watches out for her like a sister. Some guys are like picking on her. So he just like beats them all up, which I'm like, okay, Tom, you're like shorter than me, buddy. I don't know if I believe all this, but whatever, man. So he like beats them up, whatever. She's like very religious because the grandma who raised her is super religious. New pastor comes to town. Finally, the movie gets good. Robert Pattinson is the new pastor who comes to town. And he went to pastor school in like Tennessee, I think they said. And he just has like, all of them have like wild Southern accents for the most part, to the point where it's like, this is like Northern West Virginia, Ohio area. Like, the fuck are we doing? You guys aren't in like Louisiana right now. But he actually comes from a little bit more down south, and he has like a great accent, just going nuts on it. And I'm like, hell yeah, someone who makes a little bit of sense. So he then grooms Tom Holland's sister. She then gets pregnant, and he's like just gaslighting the shit out of her. Like, we were just praising the Lord. That can't be my baby. You're delusional. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, lady. So then she decides, obviously, like any young woman getting gaslit, she's going to kill herself. Because he said, like, yeah, that baby's not mine. Like, you're a psycho. So she's like, all right, well, guess I'm going to kill myself. So then she gets up on a bucket to hang herself. And here's the thing that kind of got weird. There's a narrator at certain points of the movie, and I thought at the end it would make sense. You never know why. At some point, there's just a narrator. And I'm like, okay, cool, man. And what does make is like some of the stuff he says even makes less sense. Like when she's on the bucket, like the narrator then kicks in, and he's like, but I don't remember her name. Little Susie then realized that like everyone would still accept her, like even if she has this kid and like raises it on her own, and she has a change of heart. But then like as she tries to like untake the rope off her neck, like she trips kind of and kicks the bucket out from under her, and she still hangs herself. It's like the narrator's like, she realized like she could still do this, blah, blah, and like people would still have like love for her in their hearts, and she had a change of mind, and then she still dies. I'm like, how the fuck did you know that? Like this narrator, how did you know she had a change in her mind? So then Tom Holland then decides like, yeah, something was definitely going on with this pastor. So he kind of like stalks the guy for a little bit. He then takes his dad's old war gun and like goes to his house, or not the house, to the church where he like stays. And he like tells the guy, he's like, Father, I got like sin I got to tell you about. And he's like, oh, what is it? And he just like starts saying everything that like the pastor did. He's like, oh, well, you see, there's this girl, and like I just couldn't help myself from her. And then all of a sudden she got pregnant, and like all of a sudden the pastor's like, wait, is this about us? He's starting to realize like, oh shit, are you following me? So Tom Holland takes out the gun, and he's like, she killed herself because of you. It's all your fault. And gotta give him. He's like, fuck it. I'm gonna die how I'm gonna die. So he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't do anything with her. We were just praising the Lord. Just even with a gun pointed to him, he's sticking with it. So Tom Holland kills him, shoots him dead. And he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna run away. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm going back to my home in Ohio. I want to see that house one more time. So he goes back to Ohio. And on the way, there's like some weird story kind of going on at the same time of that Jason Clarke actor. Like him and his like wife like to pick up hitchhikers, take them to the woods where Jason Clarke takes pictures and videos of them fucking his wife. And then they kill the guys in like brutal ways and take pictures of it. And it's very weird. And Sebastian Stan is the police and like mayor of the town. And his sister is that girl. And it's like, why should I care about the storyline? I don't care. So Tom Holland's like going back to his home in Ohio. And then his truck breaks down. And then they pick him up on the side of the road. They're like, oh, look at this cute boy, blah, blah, blah. So they pick him up on the side of the road. They take him down to like a little pond area where they're going to try to like set it up. And then he kind of catches on and he sees that Jason Clarke's character has a gun on him. So like he kind of like gets his gun ready. He's like, what's going on here? And like Jason Clarke goes to like open the door and like get his gun out. Tom Holland shoots and kills him. And so then the wife pulls out her gun on Tom Holland. And she's like, nah, I'm going to kill you instead. Like, relax. And he's like, whoa, lady, I don't want to kill you. Like, let's just put our guns down. She goes to shoot. So he goes to shoot. So they shoot each other at the same time. And then you learn that Jason Clarkson was like super fucked up and he like gave his wife an empty, like a gun with blanks in it because he didn't trust her. So like Tom Holland didn't actually get shot because it was just blanks. So he killed her too. So he killed both of them. And he just dips out of there and goes back to Ohio because he's close to his town. And then you learn like that town is where they're from and where her brother's the sheriff. So then he goes and investigates like his sister's death. And they're like, hey, we think it might be this guy who is in the town now because like nobody knows who he is and his description kind of matches what we think might be. So then Sebastian Stan goes to kill him because he's like, yo, you killed my sister. And then he's just like, yo, man, like they're bad people. Like you don't get it. Like I didn't do anything wrong. And so then he ends up killing Sebastian Stan. And then he pretty much just like buries his gun that he used to kill all these people. And like the movie pretty much ends. And it's kind of like a lot of different things that happened. I was like, I didn't need to care about all this. Why did I spend an hour with Bill Skarsgård's character for no reason? Like, it was like, whatever. Yes, overall, it was kind of clusterfuck. Just a whole lot of stuff going on that I was like, I don't care right now. Like I said, the narrator was super random. And I was like, why are you here right now? Like, what are you adding to this? How do you know this stuff? It just ends. Like, who were you? What was the point of this? But yeah, essentially, it just had a whole lot of religious things going on and a whole lot of wild accents that just did not fit at all. Made no sense to me. And like I said, a couple different storylines. I was like, I don't care. And like, I guess they came together at the end, but in a way that was like, whatever. So yeah, this movie was kind of a letdown for me. This is one I wanted to see. Real bright spot I can say is Robert Pattinson killed it as always, because when doesn't he? But besides that, like, a whole lot of nothing for me. So yeah, I gave this movie a 4.5 out of 10. Just, like I said, I don't know why I need to spend like half the movie with Bill Skarsgård's character giving like background for this kid. It's like, we could have probably done that in like 20 minutes pretty cleanly. So, what was the narrator about? That really what annoyed me. What was the point? How do you know?
I didn't remember any of that film other than the fact, because I watched it when it first came out. And I just remember that Robert Pattinson's character was good. That's all I remembered. I was like, I don't want to give this Blake.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, shocker. Robert Pattinson killed it. Everything else was like, what are we doing? So, yeah, pretty whatever.
Okay, well, those were the reviews for those three movies. Now it's time for the tasking of new ones. Blake, since you went last, you can give your new movie to Josh.
Yeah, like I got Josh. See, it's a tough one because I got like two in mind. One of them I'm like probably should go with. The other one just randomly hit me out of nowhere. I was like, remember when this movie was a thing? I'm sure Josh didn't see it at that point. So I think I might do that one. It just randomly came out of nowhere to me.
Okay.
I was like, remember this movie? So Josh, I believe this was the late 2000s. The movie Gamer. Did you ever see that? I believe it's
Gamer?
Gerard Butler. Or yeah, it's Gerard Butler, I'm pretty sure.
And Logan
no.
Lerman, I want to say, is in that movie.
I think so.
Yeah.
He might be.
I remember
No.
seeing that like on Redbox rental.
Yeah, I don't know why this movie randomly hit me recently. I was like, I remember when that was a movie? That movie was so... I can still remember parts of the trailer for that movie.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm just going to give you it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. All right, Alex, I got you. This is a movie that I've had saved ever since I watched it, and I just was like, I think Alex would really like this movie. It's called The Raid Redemption. I know
Okay.
you haven't seen it.
No. Okay. Raid Redemption. Okay. Let me write that down so I don't forget. Raid Redemption.
I don't even know where you're gonna find Gamer, to be honest.
I mean, I don't even know if Raid Redemption's on any streaming service. To be fair, the one I'm about to give you, I don't think it's on any.
That's crazy.
Maybe, who knows? Okay. Hoping you haven't seen this, Blake, because I know there's an actor in here that you love. So, hoping you haven't.
It's not on a streaming service. I'm saying I've seen it.
You just got one does on a streaming service.
Have you seen Collateral?
Sounds familiar.
With Tom Cruise, Jamie Foxx, Michael Mann directed.
Oh, you can watch that with your dad now.
2004.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, this movie came out in 2004. So it's a younger Tom Cruise. I feel like you'll enjoy this one, hopefully. I'm trying to go on a three for three.
Young.
Yeah. So, those are the movies.
It's got Jamie Foxx, so that's cool too.
Yeah, as it does.
Well, that's going to do it for this one. As always, let us know in the comments below if you saw any of the movies that we had our recaps on, what you thought of them. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.